Today, we're going to talk about a quiet revolution happening in one of our most critical professions, nursing. Seriously, forget everything you thought you knew about nursing training. The whole foundation is being rebuilt from the ground up to face the super complex, tech-heavy realities of 21st century healthcare.
So let me kick things off with a question for you. When you picture a nurse, what's their most important tool? Is it like a stethoscope, a syringe, maybe just that friendly, comforting smile? Well, you might be surprised. Because today, the answer is way more complex than that. The skills that defined nursing for generations, they're now being merged with this whole new set of abilities you would probably never even expect. So let's dive right in. Okay, so what's going on here? The nursing profession is smack in the middle of a perfect storm. It's being hit by two massive forces at once. First, an incredibly diverse patient population. And second, the relentless, non-stop march of technology. And wow, this slide right here, it just lays it all out, that shift from then to now. I mean, just look at this. What we used to call bedside manner has evolved into something way deeper, cultural competency. Simple physical procedures are now tied to complex data analysis. And charting on paper? Pfft, gone. Completely replaced by electronic health records and AI collaboration. It is a whole new ballgame. All right, let's break down that first challenge, the changing face of our communities. As the U.S. population gets more and more diverse, nurses need a completely new set of skills to make sure they're providing care that's actually equitable. Just take a look at this number, 76.7%. That seems impossibly high, right? I mean, what could that be? It's not a test score. That is the rate of household food insecurity on the Navajo Nation in northern Arizona. Just let that sink in for a second. And that number? It leads directly to the kind of health inequities you see here. The entire Navajo Nation is considered a food desert, and the consequences, they're just staggering. We're talking about an obesity rate over 85% and a diabetes rate that's 2.5 times the national average. You see, these aren't just statistics. They're what experts call social determinants of health. And a modern nurse, they have to understand these just as well as they understand checking your blood pressure. And that's why nursing education now puts such a huge focus on something called culturally appropriate care. This isn't just about being nice, you know? It's a very specific skill set. It's about using knowledge, skills, and sensitivity to give care that's truly equitable, recognizing that a patient's background deeply, deeply influences their health and their trust in the entire system. Okay, so that's the human side. Now for the second massive shift, the digital tidal wave. I mean, technology isn't just some add-on anymore. It's literally woven into the fabric of patient care. And this didn't just happen by accident. Nope, it was mandated right from the top. It all started with a presidential mandate back in 2004, and then it got a huge boost from the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act in 2009. The push for electronic health records, or EHRs, was fast and it was absolute. Basically, overnight, this forced a gigantic change, and every single nurse had to become skilled in health informatics. Now, while this definitely created new burdens, experts like David Benton, he's the former head of the National Council of State Boards of Nursing, they see an incredible opportunity here. He argues that, look, if a machine can do a task better or faster, let it. The whole point isn't to replace nurses, it's about freeing them up to focus on the uniquely human parts of the job that a machine could never do. And AI is already making a real difference in 3 key areas. In education, for instance, it's helping craft these personalized training simulations for students. In the clinic, some systems over in China can help with tricky tasks like finding a vein, and they're doing it with over 90% accuracy. And in management, AI can sort through mountains of data to optimize complex nurse schedules in a matter of seconds. So you've got these two huge, seemingly separate challenges, right? How on earth do you train a nurse to handle both deep human diversity and super complex digital tools at the same time? Well, the answer, it lies in the virtual world. So, welcome to the Modern Simulation Lab. And let me tell you, this is not your old school CPR dummy. These are what we call high-fidelity environments. They let students practice on really complex, messy cases in a place where it's totally safe to make mistakes. They can learn and grow without any risk whatsoever to a real patient. The whole process is really carefully structured, as you can see here. First, students get a scenario. Then they apply their skills with a live, trained actor playing the patient. But here's the thing. The real magic isn't in the performance itself. It's in step 3, the debrief. This is where the faculty guides the students in this deep, reflective conversation about what happened and, more importantly, why. It's where raw skills get transformed into real clinical judgment. Let's make this concrete with a real-world example. Meet Dakota Eddy. Now, he's a simulation character, a 19-year-old Navajo man who's agitated, doesn't trust the hospital, and keeps talking about needing to see his medicine doctor. A nursing student has to figure out a potential infectious disease while also navigating these deep-seated cultural beliefs and historical trauma. You see, this one single scenario tests absolutely everything we've just talked about. So what's the result of all this new training? Well, you get an entirely new kind of professional. We're not talking about a robotic nurse, but an augmented one. And the language we use here is actually really, really important. This isn't artificial intelligence, which kind of implies the machine is doing it all on its own. No, this is augmented intelligence. That's where technology assists the clinician. And the crucial difference, the human, the nurse, is always the one who makes the final call and holds the ultimate responsibility. And this is the end goal, a future-ready nurse, a professional who is just as comfortable doing a cultural assessment as they are interpreting data from an AI-powered monitor. It's someone who uses technology as a powerful partner to deliver safer, more empathetic, and just plain more effective care.
But this whole new partnership, it leaves us with some pretty profound questions to think about. David Benton leaves us with this final thought provoker. If a machine is right 99.9% of the time, and a human is right only 90% of the time, who would you want to have the final say? That's the complex ethical frontier these new augmented nurses are going to be navigating every single day.